outside. So when I'm going outside, I'm catching breath when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword's drawn outside. Cause that's the color of your better be on outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside. Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, flip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still a break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in a clip. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns, get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true too. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transformed the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your casualties. Courage is King David battling like a Maccabee. Find out who you think that nigga also a casualty. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it to hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity. In the middle of this damage. Horror, I see calamity. Scar you up with my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me. Fuck them up in their faculty. They words speak, sit in their mouth, they causing cavities. Yeah, it's so horrible. None of you suckers worry. War going on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside. From the dust to the dawn outside. So when I'm going outside, I'm catching breath when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword's drawn outside. Cause that's the color of your better be on outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside. West till they bury me. I run west till they bury me.
Can you hear me? Oh, let me take my mic off mute. Okay, I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me? I can see you talking, but I can't hear anything on my end. I don't have anything coming out the speakers. Can you hear me? Nope. Okay, Shalom Israel. We're gonna have this discussion with this brother, Leandre. He's trying to get his computers and system and everything done. Bear with us for a second while he figures this out, because he has no volume coming out of his computer. He can hear me and see me. I can see him, but I can't hear him. So hopefully the brother picked that up real quick. For to try to go back in. Let's see, we got the cam going, got the mic going. Alright. Let's see, we in there, we in the game. I can't hear anything. Let me see if it's our audio. Man, can't do it, brother.
Your mom could be next. My father left. My mom, oldest brother, and your life is fleeting, right? And I just try to be strong, for yeah. I try to be strong, for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I see you got your, all right, so that's your other member, right? Of the ISU Brigade, brother, OFC?
Absolutely, that's my scientist, Officer Cabal.
Oh, okay, so we go with the audio now. So we go with the audio now. So
yeah,
just
good. I can hear you.
Real quick shout out to my aunt, you know what I'm saying? Who was buried this morning. My family, like, we all took that hard. I know yesterday I was just like in shock at the funeral, because I guess it's separation anxiety. She had oldest cousin, well, my cousin Keisha was her caretaker, her daughter, and I know it's, and shout out to you, Keisha. But let's get to what we trying to get to the nitty gritty. We got my man Obsession.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we in here. And I was just checking this microphone. You know, I got a show tomorrow, so I'm troubleshooting.
This man has more hats than the Planters
as
peanut.
we doing. You know, other people about to come in here.
Yeah.
So I'm using today, I'm using tomorrow. I'm just making sure everything.
Yeah.
But shout out to the brothers.
Shout out to the brothers that joined from ISUPK. Home of the truth.
Absolutely.
State your name, brother. State your name.
I'm captain of 10,000, the Goggle Bar of the ISUPK, under Commander General Yohana. You understand? And you are correct. The ISUPK is absolutely the one and only home of the truth. All right.
That's right.
That's
home
right.
of the truth. All right.
Love.
Yes, we're gonna hear a lot of truth.
Hey, Captain, this is for all the women that's going to be tuning in. Tell how many wives you got, Captain.
I don't give numbers, but I got a lot of them. You understand? I don't. And the reason being is I don't want to number my women because as soon as one of them get mad at me, they're gonna say, "Oh, I'm just a number to you anyway." You understand? And
this man got it down.
They're more important to me than a number. You understand? So I don't number my women, but I got
Why
a bunch.
she number 4 and I'm number 3?
Word.
Why she number 2? I should be number 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To avoid all that,
don't jump out there.
To avoid all that, you are my wife. You understand? That's all they got to worry about.
I feel you, man.
But here's the question: like when it's dinner time, like don't you have to take a head count? Because I know you got more than 5. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, don't you have to, be able to keep up with all of them? Sorry about that motorcycle, y'all. We're in the studios in the hood.
Well, I mean, of course, a man has to keep up with all his women. In the ISUPK, you have to keep up with all your women. If you choose to sleep with them, you have to keep up with them all. You understand? So, but I mean, dinner doesn't have to be, all 10 of them at one dinner table. You know what I'm saying? They don't. One don't have to wash the clothes while the other one is, preparing the meal, and the other one is in the backyard with the kids and all. They don't have to live together. A lot of misconceptions come from, what's that movie, Sister Wives? Where the white man was with all of those women in the same house and all 30 of his kids and all. You know what I mean? That's not how it has to go. In a perfect world, that would be great to have them all in one house, paying one bill, everybody bringing in one check. That would be great. But you got to realize who we dealing with now. We're dealing with the black woman and the Hispanic woman. You understand? And most women can't live with their daughters too long. Once the daughter get grown,
is that true?
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I'm saying?
When they get a certain age, forget about it.
Yeah, so like I said, but it is what it is. We'll get to it. But I'm gonna let my right hand man. I'm gonna get my right hand man
introduce your scientist, man. OFC Chabal.
Officer 50 Cabal Qatar, right here with Campus St. Louis, ISCBK and the Commander General Yohana, just out here doing the work and trying to correct our people because we've been taking down such the wrong path that men of the Lord step up.
I feel you. So we're gonna get to me and the Gog Gabal, we were talking about this earlier slightly. You know how, listen, we're just going to use Kevin Samuels as the figurehead, not as the crux of this conversation. But in the last week, right, I've seen a plethora of women go in on certain talking points. I know Gabal said last week he thought it was misogyny himself, but certain talking points that was literally biblical, right? And they called it misogyny. And I sent Christina the link, but she said she wasn't feeling well, but she tried to come on. But I told me and Christina had gotten into this real deep conversation. I remember on my way to Europe, and I was telling her that I was kind of I'm kind of jaded from this word misogyny, because if you go to church if you work Monday through Saturday, go to church on Sunday, what you deem as misogynist in the Western world is literally biblical text in a lot of these issues, right? That's why we got you up here to bring up the verses. And if women want to come in, they can come in and defend this. If this is my disclaimer before we start, though, if you are a Christian or a Muslim who do not use that word or do not deem certain practices in this culture now misogynistic, then this is not for you. But if you're a person that goes to church every Sunday or go to the mosque on Juma, but then when you're in work and you're like talking to men about certain gender roles, oh, that's misogynist. Well, you can literally just open up the Bible and kind of like find the same thing. Am I lying, Cabal?
Khan, you are absolutely incorrect about that.
All right, so tell me why am I incorrect?
Well, because, the word misogynistic means hate or disdain for women, right?
Okay, hold on, not to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
Do you understand the context of what women use that word?
Yeah, they're saying that black men hate black women. That's what they're saying.
Okay,
They're saying that we hate them.
Do you understand that's their shield for what you in your book can bring out? You do know that, right?
Right.
So
They say that.
Telling me, okay, that's the point.
You're correct about that. You're correct about them saying that, but the Bible is not misogynistic. It's not. No one in the Bible, they didn't hate their, sisters and brothers. That's not what the Bible is explaining. It's actually teaching blacks how to love each other, teaching Hispanics how to love each other, teaching Native Indians, all of the children of the Lord, those three that I just named only. It's teaching them to love one another, not to hate them. We don't hate the black woman, but guess what? Some of the things that she has been, I'll say, led to believe, and she has been destroyed, overall, and she has followed a lot of other nation of people ways and stuff like that, then those are the things that we hate, because guess what it turns her into? It takes her from being a princess, like what the Lord created her to be, into a monster. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that they do when we have to check them, correct them, their behavior, stuff like that, then it's not coming from a place of hate. It's actually coming from a place of love, to where if I didn't love you, I wouldn't tell you the right thing to do. You see what I'm saying? So that's incorrect to say that they're saying, okay, you're being misogynistic, but you're going to church and you're going to read the Bible, and the Bible is misogynistic.
There you go. That's my point.
But that's the part that's incorrect. The Bible is not misogynistic at all. It's not.
You are mixing apples with the oranges. Now, what the Bible what the Bible and the Quran is, in the Torah, is man's traditional practices and relationships in nation building with their women, mm-hmm. at a certain point, geographically and chronologically. Mm-hmm. But me and Obsession knows this for a fact. What you just said, you said, I can't even number my wives, right? Because I don't want them to, feel one is greater than the other. And that's respect, right? But mm-hmm. if you tell a normal Christian woman in 2022 that that's what you're doing, what do you think they're going to call that? Misogyny. That's a misogynistic practice.
Right. I'm with you on that part.
Right.
I'm with you on that. They're gonna say whatever. If you tell exactly. if the black woman walks around with her breast out and you say, mm-hmm. sis, go put a shirt on, she's gonna say, you being misogynistic. I get it. They're gonna say you're being misogynistic about any and every damn thing that they disagree with. But the point that I made is that the Bible is not misogynistic. The Bible does not teach black men to hate black women. That's what the word misogyny means. You understand? As a matter of fact, before we go any further, Cabal, mm-hmm. give me the definition to misogyny.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
You understand? Pull the definition to misogyny out.
But I mean, Dre, were you saying that? I don't think you were saying that.
Yeah. See, while he get his verse, Obsession, like the one thing I know of these brothers, they are totally within their paradigm, right? But the thing is also is that it's almost like the one thing any Hebrew Israelite, not just the ISUPK, but the one thing they do is, like they live in a world in this country that they exclude themselves from a lot of things, right? They always gonna live what they live, talk what they talk. What me and you know is whether you're a Hebrew Israelite, a Christian, a Muslim, or whatever, a woman's weapon, number one weapon, is that word for anything they don't agree with on your opinion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you weren't saying that the Bible is misogynistic.
No, I wasn't saying that at all.
What you were saying is that the things that they call misogyny in the world, on Sunday when they go into church, those same traditional things in the Bible are now the gospel.
There you go.
I think that's what he's saying. He's not saying that the Bible is misogynistic, just simply saying that things that they hear and try to cow us down for when we have conversations about it.
Right.
And, that's misogyny. But
right.
And when you go to the Bible, it's just talking about traditional relationships as opposed to a man and a woman. And that's where confusion comes in. So Sunday is not misogyny, Monday morning.
There you go. Like I think I told you, I know I told Gabal, when a woman goes up to the pastor's wife and say, "How you doing, First Lady such and such?" That's patriarchal in itself.
Oh, absolutely.
To say First Lady amongst a bunch of women, right?
Yeah, it shows there's a hierarchy.
There's a hierarchy. You understand where I'm coming from? But go ahead, get to your verse so we can get into the crux of this conversation.
Yeah, no sweat. I wanted the brother to read the definition first to misogyny. Go ahead, Kabal. Nice and loud, Warrior. You a bit low. Okay.
Misogyny is defined as dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women.
A dislike or disdain for women, right? And that's the thing that I'm saying about the truth of the Bible. It does not dislike or have a disdain for, you understand, black women. Okay, it actually, like I said, it actually loves our sisters. You know what I mean? And think about something. If the church was misogynistic, black women wouldn't go.
Of course they would not.
They would not go.
I agree with you.
It's a place of flowers and green and red carpet everywhere, and it's nice and sweet for the woman. Nice music. You know what I mean?
So as we're speaking about church now, and you just brought it up, let me ask you, why do you think the church is so full of women and there's no men, unless they're old? There's a couple of deacons running around in there, and some older gentlemen who kind of getting ready to go on to glory. But other than that, there's no young men, there's no builders in there. Why is that? In your opinion, why do you think that?
I got you. Christianity is the worship of women. That's the reason why, it's all women there. Just think about it. Think about the music for one second. You got songs about feel me, touch me, hold me. You understand? Ain't no man rocking with no touching no man, feeling no man all over. I couldn't get down with Kirk Franklin and some of his songs. I couldn't get down with Yolanda Adams and some of her songs. You know what I mean? I couldn't get because it's extremely feminine, right? But when you go into the Bible, man, the Bible's hardcore. It's as masculine as hell. You understand? It goes hard in the Bible. What they say, go hard in the paint. It goes hard in the paint. You understand? Our King Christ was not no sissy. Our King Christ was not no sissy. None of the men of God was soft like these preachers and these pastors and these bishops and these reverends. So the whole thing of Christianity is all about women worship. Like for instance, you asked about if I tell a woman that I got more than one woman now, most Christian women are going to go against that, right? That's because in the church they teach that the man is only supposed to have one woman. But when it comes to the woman, if she's unhappy, she can divorce her man and go get another. See, it's all about the woman. You see what I'm saying? Down from the preaching, the sermons, the decorations and the flowers and the pictures on the wall, the color, the paint, everything is about the woman in Christianity. and it's not about the men. You know, and if you think about it, you'll never hear the pastors and those preachers tell those women that they only supposed to be with one man. You'll never hear them say that. But they will listen to her cry and her story about how she upset with her husband, and they will tell her to go ahead and leave him and get another one. That they will do. You know.
I agree with that.
Now, and I'm not disputing that. I do think I don't want to. This is what I do feel though. We should. A lot of these pastors aren't feminine, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're sleeping with all the women of the church. They are selling and packaging a product to that consumer. So if there's studies that show 80% of the black church are women because of the emotional rhetoric, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is being sold and told to the patrons. For example, one of the biggest fiascos I've seen this week, Jamal Bryant, right? Who is a known womanizer, right? This man has...
And he was getting
and child molester. Don't forget that
right,
too.
exactly.
And
This
child
man had
molester.
more women outside of his marriage, meaning he had more children outside his marriage than he had in his marriage, right? Now peep the game. He's preaching to the choir, he's talking to a bunch of women in the congregation, and you know he got his touch suit on and he's crying and he's sweating, right? And then you're chastising and castigating another man that literally is kind of reflecting your actions, right? Now you do that, one, because that's what's going to get them to dig deep in their purse and to fill up your coffers. But then two, do you understand how many women, even though he recanted that statement because he kind of had to, but do you understand how many women can come in his study and be like, yo, Pastor, I just felt like that. You hit the word was speaking to me today.
Wait. You said he recanted. What did he recant?
He recanted the statement. So about 4 days later, he was in front of his congregation, and he talked about his frat brothers. Now, this is a so-called man of God. So God speaks to you the truth on every other thing, but your frat brothers told you, like, y'all, Kevin Samuels was actually, wealthy. And they didn't have a GoFundMe for his funeral. And he says, well, my apology got to be as loud as my critique, right? But how many of these women that was in his church are going to apologize? You know how many women posted on their Facebook, and Kevin Samuels broke, we told you, girl, God alone, right?
Right.
So that's why I say it is the shield that they use when they don't want to hear what you're talking about. And one of the reasons why I have you guys up here is for this reason. The reason why I have you guys up here is because you have to go to these women yourselves and tell them that Bible verse that you might want to look up, which says, suffers a woman not to teach, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing Kevin Samuel said is God, man, woman, child. He said that's the order of protocol, right? He literally said that 2 weeks before he died. He told his woman it's got to be God, man, woman, child. Right? So he says that he's the misogynist. But it's in the Bible, correct?
That's correct. There is a structure that the Lord has set, and we so desperately need to get back to that, for our homes to be repaired and to be sustained. You understand? So that we can sustain our families, we need to get back to that order. But because our sisters, now you right, again, like I said, they do use that shield. They will say that you are being misogynistic, you're what they call it, slut shaming and all kinds of stuff. They got all kinds of defense mechanisms, you know what I mean, that they use, just so that they won't accept the truth.
Yeah, and it's also used to shut conversations down. Because once you're defending yourself from not being a misogynist, instantly you're not having the conversation that you just had.
Right. That's true also. You understand?
I mean, we live in a time where if we just rewind, we're in 2020, let's rewind to 70s television.
Mm-hmm.
By definition, to most of these women, that's misogyny, right? James telling Florida, you can't work. I don't care if we get evicted tomorrow. You can't go out there and get a job, right? That's a gender role. That is a hard line gender role, right? Even if you look at it like, and like I said, I'm gonna go into it deeper because I had some pushback from like random men, which is kind of weird, where I was showing like how feminism was actually more promoted through black television than it was promoted through white television.
Yeah.
Once they started to hand it to us, right? For example, there was no woman more masculine in the 80s than Marsha Warfield on Night Court,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I would say her white counterpart
Right.
is.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
Exactly. Now I want to show you something. I'm gonna show you how like Family Ties. You remember that show Family Ties when you were a kid?
Yep.
You had like a literal patriarchal white structured home in that whole show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let me show you something. So, and I'm not knocking these characters, but let me show you something. So the Cosby Show gave you Claire Huxtable, right? She had a degree. She was a lawyer. She spoke multiple languages, and she made a lot of decisions in that house, right? Let's do the flip side of that show, Married with Children. Peggy sat on the couch every day eating bonbons with leggings to a shoe salesman who was white in a Fresno mall.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a
Yeah, I
fact.
got you.
So they promoted it in a way where it was almost like, this is your last resort, meaning black people. Y'all better get out there and work, right?
Right.
And then the white girl was like, yo, your husband's a shoe salesman. I'm gonna eat bonbons and watch soap operas all day on the couch.
Yeah.
Right.
And so in that self, it kind of gives you where we at now with the sister girl magic and a lot of the panaceas that we create to feel better about our situation. Now, as if you've been watching us long enough now, like, listen, I'm like, well, Obsession said the same the other day, like, listen, have it the way you want it, but don't use these words, these buzzwords, these critiques, when you yourself are, like, enjoying it, especially if you're in the church, especially if you're in the mosque, because, like, yo, which one is it?
Yeah. You know, speaking of church, I used to go faithfully. I used to go every Sunday. I haven't done that in some years now, but I went every Sunday, and I started to lose interest, and I stopped going because I didn't see anything being built, right? The pastor, everybody trusts the pastor. All the men and the women in the church trust the pastor. And I felt like he's not leading these people towards prosperity. He's just keeping his car note paid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if I would have went to the people in the church and said, listen, there's a building for sale. If we pool our money, you know, we can get this building, we maybe open up a daycare, we can do this. They would have been like, no, hell no. Like, no, why would we just do that with random youth? But if the pastor did that, he could have jumped that off. Right? So I always felt like he's really not trying to help his so-called flock. It's just about padding his pockets, you know. And I did a lot of church visiting with church members. We used to go to this church, that church, and I just saw a lot of the same thing, just with different men at the head of it. And it's like, I got to get out of here. And I think for me, that's probably one of the reasons there was no men my age or in my age group there. It was just one and two here and there.
Right.
But for the most part, it was just women from young to old. And it's scary, man. It's a scary place.
Right. And I agree. Christianity has absolutely destroyed our people, mainly our sisters, because the majority of them go. And they really believe that mumbo jumbo that they are preaching and teaching in their church. I agree with you. Now, one thing that I will say, I blame my sisters for one thing, and one thing I don't blame them for. One thing I do not blame them for is for their behaviors, the mindset. They were tricked, right? They started listening to another people and thought that they were going to take that and make it work for themselves, right? And I blame the other people for that, because they purposely targeted black women to do what they are doing with black homes and with black women. How you look at like on TV, you got sex objects, right? Who is the first sex object they want to put out there? The sexiest woman on the planet, right? Which is the black and Hispanic woman. But they want to turn around and they want to show the world her body, right? Because it looks so good. You understand? But besides that, they turned around and tricked her and got her out there, you know, after, what was that movie? Pretty Woman? With,
Okay.
what's her name? Angela Davis, the prostitute.
Julia Roberts.
Julia
Julie Roberts, whatever it is, all of them prostitutes to me. None of them are attractive to me. But the prostitute was supposed to be the best looking woman in the world, right? This was a whore, right? And white men love whores. They love whores. It's no thing. I had discussions with white men, and they will admit that their wives are the town whores, and they know it. They know they sleeping with everybody, and they love that.
They admitted to you that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm being honest here. I'm being honest. I have. I've talked to them, and they have admitted this to me. So,
Right.
but see, but the thing is, now the roles have reversed. Once they did all of that pushing of the white whore, now that the black woman has become the whore, you understand? Because the white woman is the earth's whore. She's everybody's whore. Right? Now that the black woman has done it, now the white woman is what? Now she's a soccer mom. You understand? She drives minivans. She's with the kids. She's, you know what I'm saying? She's an all-around mom. She's an American mom, right? But
You listen. I'm gonna let you rock with that. But that's the thoughts and reviews expressed by our captain of 10,000 does not reflect the thoughts and reviews of the Relationship Debates and Dialogue podcast. Go ahead,
I'm telling you, but look, so now that the black woman is, you know, she's video vixen, she's half naked on every movie, or fully naked, she's stripping, she's doing all of these sick things that she was not doing before she turned around and listened to white people and wanted to realize that she wanted to be white and was thinking that was a better way to live than to live the way that our God said to, you know. And so now look at it, you know, look at our children, look at our daughters, you know, look at it's like it's out of control, you know. But like I said, now I don't blame her for that because she fell for the banana in the tailpipe. But what I do blame her for is perpetuating it. You see that it is not working. You see being a whore is not getting you nothing but AIDS and butt shots that hurt and breast implants that you don't need. You got them big old sour melons anyway. You understand? And they doing a lot of things that they know that they should not. You understand? That they know is hurting the community.
The thing, though, I don't necessarily disagree or agree, but what I will say is, like, look at the culture of America, period, right? So, listen, I know just as many Dominican women with BBLs. I know just as many Caucasian women with, well, not just as many, but I know a few. As black women. Why? Because everything that's promoted to them is like, yo, get this body, get this look, get this man who can provide, protect, and give you a lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, in the land of the blind, the man one eye is king. So at the end of the day, when you're after a lifestyle, because the one thing I embrace in my older age is that women by nature are hypergamous. It's not a negative thing for them to be that. Because if you look at millennia in history, you understand that, especially y'all Hebrews, so y'all believe in a lot of the biblical narrative, the wars that took place. Man came, ravaged, took resources, and took the women. Right? So it's like, this is why, you know, and during famine, what did y'all do? Y'all went into other places, rested, fed, and mated, right? Once again, it is in their nature to have the provider male. That's why even in 2022, even though they kind of like flipped the script, if you read a lot of these posts, it's like, yo, I'm not gonna have no guys gonna sit on my couch and do nothing, he's not there, and I'm giving him loving. No. Right? So it's always that. It always boils down to lifestyle. So right now we're looking at these surgeries and the way they promote certain things. It's literally just trying to get a lifestyle. It's like I'm hustling.
You know, a lot of the excuses I hear about that is, I want to be a bottle girl. They don't want to be strippers. They want to be bottle girls. They say the bottle girls make more money, so I'm gonna get my body done so I can be a bottle girl and make all this bread. And you know, a couple of conversations I've had, I've asked them like, okay, so you're gonna be a bottle girl. Do you have a plan? Do you at least have a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, or a 5-year plan, something like that? Because you know this will end. This don't last forever. This is temporary. So what you gonna do after the fact? And it's usually, you know, deer in the headlights. Like, what you mean? Like some of them really believe that they can just continue to do this forever for whatever reason. I don't know where in the hell they would get that idea, but unfortunately, man. So not all, but far too many of our young women are caught up in that, man. It's a crazy aesthetic. Just looking at it, I'm bugging like, what in the hell? Your legs is skinny and your ass is big. And, I mean, not all of them, but enough of them. And we had the same conversation on my show last week. You know, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, when does this stop? And either you doing it for us or you not. Because when we say why you do it, they say, oh, because men like it. Then in the same breath, they'll turn around and say, well, we don't do anything for y'all in terms of our appearance, the way we dress, what we put on, what we do our body, we do it because we want to. So if that's the case, own it and stop putting it on us when someone asks you, why do you do that? You keep flip-flopping.
Totally.
But, you know, I feel bad for a lot of these young sisters out here, man. I hope they wake up and they realize that they better than that, you know, because stop. Hey, listen, my older sisters, listen, cut that big chop shit out. Get rid of that big chop shit. Stop doing that, all right? Stop with them long ass eyelashes that when you blink they touch on your cheek. Cut that out. That, you know, you don't have to be a glam mother. It's all right to be a grandmother. Like, these kids need their grandmothers, you know. And we not seeing that. It's just too. I'm a glam mom. No. You grandma. You know, I think part of the reason the family is crazy is because ain't no big mama. You know, whether you like it or not, big mama held the family together. Even the family members that didn't like each other came around to Big Mama house. And you got to know your cousins and your third cousins and whosoever else. Now, shit, when the last time you seen your cousins? When the last time you seen your cousins' kids? Do your cousins' kids know your kids? They probably don't. You know, because there's no meeting place anymore. Everybody is on a trip to Cancun somewhere or at brunch. But that's a whole nother show, brother.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, that's, you know, what he's saying, what Obsession is saying is true, right? Because, listen, we're all gonna get older, no matter how much we try to act like we're not. You know, it's just life, right? You're gonna get older. The thing I'm trying to, you know, the thing I'm trying to do is understand why, you know, why we're just not being honest about it. I guess it has a lot to do with the show I really wanted to do at first, which is the lack of accountability of these people. Because just being honest, just say, yo, I'm hustling. Because that's what it is, right? I'm providing this look that's popular at the moment, right? To get the dude or to put myself in a position. Because think about like this, right? If you look at Basketball Wives, it's one of the main shows that I blame for a lot of what's going on, right? Because you saw women sit at the most posh restaurants in the dopest cities, right? And literally argue about a bag, right? Not how they got the bag, not who they did to get the bag, or not them going up and getting up to work to go get the bag. It was like, yo, that's a fake Hermes bag, that's a fake Birkin bag, right? So then girls started to learn about that. And then, but none of them at the time, let me not say none, but most of them at the time were not getting these surgeries. Look at most of them women now and how their body has changed and contoured, right? Now you got a whole different dynamic. Cause like, yo, I want to be a basketball player, I want an NBA player too, right? See, the average man who works on a garbage truck who's picking up your garbage every Tuesday and Friday can't get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 9 women. But since he's an NBA player and he dug a basketball, he can get it? No, it's because he's making $23 million a year. So it's like, which one is it? Do we want this lifestyle? And do we want, because we use this word, once again, goes back to that word. We use this word when it's like the average guy. I would love to be a fly on a wall when a basketball player is kicking it to just like a beautiful woman and say, you know I'm gonna have like 6 women, right? I want to see if misogyny comes out then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, where I'm coming from?
Absolutely.
Like, I would love to hear the word misogyny there. But you know, baby, you know, like I got $40 million a year, you know, I'm traveling city to city. You know, the off-season over 2.5 months. Look, you can be my off-season wife. But when I land into Dallas, I'm gonna get some of that Dallas love. When I land in Oakland or San Fran for the Warriors, I'm gonna get that Warriors love. right? Now, one of the biggest simps, and he's a simp, just because he has side women don't mean he's a simp. One of the biggest simps in the world, Michael Blackson, right? He left his so-called African queen, his black queen, right, for an Asian woman who will allow him to like have other women. Now that's fine. That's their agreement. But like he has like this fake reality to think that she's doing that because he's like a good, like he's the guy of her dreams. No, she's doing that because you're a Z-list celebrity who's saying the same jokes from 20 years ago, mother sucker, right? But you're giving her a lifestyle. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as she get the chance to propel and to get even a better situation, it's like, bro, you're not even like in the conversation. And that's just the thing, right? Like, I would love to like understand and be a fly in the wall when all these conversations happen, when the guy who can actually lay it on the table, like, look, I got this amount, this is how I'm living, take it or leave it, right? So that's the thing. A lot of times that get lost in translation. Like, we get the opposition from the average man, working man dynamic, right? You're gonna get the ones, what are you talking about? Ain't nobody doing that, ain't nobody dealing with that. But if you notice, all these celebrity news is always what? Him cheating on her, or she left him because why? He broke. You know, so, you know, that's just my take on that.
I got you.
You know, and so I want to ask you, dude, so do you find, because y'all both in St. Louis, correct?
Correct.
Now, St. Louis is one of those old money. It's not a lot of new money from my experiences in St. Louis. It's not a lot of new money in St. Louis. It's a lot of old beer, middle America money, right? Baby boomer, silent generation money. So we know black people out there suffer big time, right? A lot of poverty in St. Louis, right?
Right.
So here's the question. Do y'all have a lot of success? Because, you know, obviously y'all have what's called camp on Saturdays when y'all out on the street. We see them up here in Harlem with y'all brother Tazariot, right, on 125th,
Right.
and Katazar sometime, right? Do y'all have a lot of opposition, like when you walk up to these women who might believe in Jesus Christ, but they might not be of the Hebrew side of things? Do y'all have a lot of opposition? Because, like, yo, one thing about y'all dudes, y'all just say how y'all feel within the Bible. How do women approach and defend themselves against what y'all tell them?
I'm gonna give you an example of camp one time.
Okay, okay.
Downtown, we got several spots here in St. Louis that we go to, and I remember this one as if it happened yesterday. This was about, I want to say about 5 years ago, but this is one of the most memorable moments at camp. We were downtown on I think it's like 14th and I can't think of the other street, right by the library. And we had a tremendous crowd. We had a bunch of cars that stopped. We was directly on the corner, right? So the traffic could see us going every way. Everybody heard us, microphone loud. You can hear us miles away. Everybody started coming out of nowhere. So before you know it, we had a crowd of black and white people. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it may have been some Chinese in the mix or something like that or whatever. Because, you know, downtown, everybody's down there now. So I turned around and I got the men speaking. I had just got through speaking about how white people are the devil that the Bible speaks of, how much they hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, how they hate the children of the Lord, and how they murder us, and all these types of things, right? And so then I turned around and let another brother go up and speak, and I saw a sister, right, come out of the crowd out of nowhere, and I could hear her yelling something, kind of hard to hear, but I could hear her saying something, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. And so I asked the brother that was on the camera, what was the sister saying? And he said that she's saying, I love white people. And what she was doing was she was going around to everybody white, giving them a hug and a kiss. I love white people. I love white people. And she did that all the way until she got right in front of the camera, right? And with the police, she loved and hugged the number one murderers of our people, right? And she turned around and hugged and loved and kissed the police officer too, right? So because the police had stopped and he was listening. And so she could just continue right on till she got to him, and he was standing right in front of the camp across the street. And she was loving and hugging and kissing him too. Everybody white running up to him, talking about. And so what happened was a white woman and a white man came out of nowhere. First the white girl, she come over asking us, what did white people ever do to black people? As if we got to go down and have a history class again. They taught us this in your classrooms, what you all did to black people, right? So,
you saw roots, goddammit.
right, you know what I'm saying? So then we turn around, and then here comes the white boy. He goes to a black guy and said, man, what is he talking about, man? The white man is the devil. I ain't the devil. You know, so I heard that. I heard him saying that. So after he leave, step away from the brother a few feet. So the brother, now he had his shirt off, he had his guns. I had a few muscles on him, right? So he goes and stands next to the white boy, drops to the ground, hit about 100 push-ups, quick. I'm talking about he hit him. He pumping, man. He pumping hard. And then he jumped up. I'm not kidding, I'm not lying. This actually happened. He jumped up off the ground, finally, after he hit them 1,000 push-ups, smacked the white boy on his chest, and he said, let's get him. And then him and about 20 of them came charging across the street. And so I had to jump back on the mic then and I said, now look, we are actually out here for our people, right? And we don't want to hurt you, but you attack us, you're gonna force us to defend ourselves, and it's not gonna go well for you. You understand? It's not gonna go well for you. So our position every time we go out there, man, is that's what they do, and it's mostly our people. In some cases,
that's crazy.
A lot of white people would agree with us. They'll say, yes, we are the devil. Yes, we have murdered you. Yes, we still murder you. Yes, we hate your guts. Yes, we don't want you in our community. They admit the truth, but it's our people. It's the slaves. It's the slaves that want to hold on to this love that they have, this nasty love affair that they have with the master. You understand? When the master is showing you that he hates your guts every single day, but you still wake up the next day with the hope that master's gonna love me today. Master's gonna accept me today. Our eyes will be one with him today. We's gonna be all right. Stuff like that. It's our people, and a lot of times it is our sisters. We had this a topic. It wasn't actually the whole topic was about Kevin Samuels, but he came up, right?
Okay.
Just about, I think about a week or two ago, and Captain Mashak had played a video of a sister coming up against him, and how the black woman was, just going in on Commander Jimmy Hahn. Not like really, but just running her mouth, cussing and carrying on in front of her kids. Now they claim we're wrong for saying the things that we're saying, but she's cussing him out, telling him all manner of evil and whatever is on her mind and whatever, and like I said, that's the part that I don't blame my sisters for, because they have been destroyed. When you take something and destroy it, it won't work right. You understand? You take a DVD and bash it with a hammer, it might come on, but it's never going to work right. You understand? The drawer is not going to come all the way out. You have to stuff the DVD in there, or you have to snatch it out. You know what I'm saying? The cords might not work. Something's going to go wrong with that, with that DVD player. And like I said, I don't blame our sisters for, them being destroyed. Because, like I said, it comes from the slave master. They destroyed our people. But when it comes to the sisters not realizing that, hey, we brothers, and what we are teaching you is love and correction, and guess what? This is going to fix the problems in the black community. It's because they have been told for so long it's all about them. And then that's how you actually rule a people, is you go and you take control of the woman. That's how you do it. You take control of that woman, you got everybody else. Because the women is going to do what they did in slavery. They're going to hand us over. Because they didn't want us to die. Right? They was beating us and lynching us and burning us and killing us. And the woman just can't take it. Right? And so you should turn around and seeing the strongest thing to ever live die right before her eyes.
Right, but see,
Right.
what you just said
So-
is what I just described about 15 minutes ago with hypergamy, right? That's
Right.
why hypergamy is embedded into most female psyches because of what man did for time memorial and millennia, right? No matter geographical locale of this rock we call Earth, if you study it, right? Just look at the movie 300 if you just want to be pseudo about it. But if you want to get in depth, from the Ottoman Empire, the Songhai Empire, the Levantine, right? Look what happened. Take all the women and children. Take all the resources, right? See me, I've been lucky enough to see the world. So like I said, I've been lucky enough to go to let's say southern Italy, where you see the women their bodies start to contour more, right? They're more voluptuous, they're more curvaceous, right? Their eyes, but their skin tone is more olive than what you would see in north central Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? And then, going into even Portugal, going into what else? Spain, España, right? Look at those women, right? Through travel and through wars, right? Look at how they become, like you call, a multitude of many. And through that, like you said, it's just expression of being what they saw for time and time and time again. You understand where I'm coming from? So, yeah, I mean, listen, that's why I just wanted to touch on this a little bit.
Yeah.
We got my homegirl Zora the Explorer in the building. You there, Randy?
Love and light, everybody. Love and light.
Shalom, sis.
What's good?
What's good? What's good?
See, I think you got some feedback. Are you watching on YouTube or something?
No, I'm not, but let me just finish.
Do you have a YouTube open?
On silent.
Oh, okay.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you've been watching on the show, but it's like me and you spoke about for a second about how you ladies, and when I say you ladies, I'm not saying all, but most, right? When they don't want to hear something, then it's misogyny. But then can go to church on Sunday or go to wherever their deity exists, and then it's the word of God. You understand where I'm coming from? So I don't know if you want to touch in on that a little bit. Especially, hold on, that goes off. Especially being a woman and around women in conversations, and still having people that you know attend these type of, situations. So,
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, that I think that we all, most women, we learn about, or really, I think people, humans in general, everything is relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that to an extent, we all learn what relationships look like from what we grew up seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get out in the world and you start to explore and figure out who you are, et cetera, a lot of what we see about relationships, well, especially in today's society, comes from social media or, a facade or someone else's opinion about even what a relationship should be or should look like for that woman or who that woman should be in that situation. And I really think, like I said, I just understand that when it comes to relationships, my personal belief now is that until I'm with somebody, until I'm married again, I'm going to be the person I'm trying to be with. Oof. Because ain't nobody come before I got married, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get married because, I thought that's what you did. You went to school, you got married.
Right.
You had a family, you tried to have some stuff together or whatever. And so then I got married, and as hard as I tried, or as much as I wanted that situation to be even remotely similar, it was the complete opposite, because him and I both grew up seeing relationships in a different manner. So now it ain't my job to put nothing that I believe per se onto no man. It's my job to really have my shit together. So when we come to be together, we can make some things happen. But what happens is people don't really know who they are. They don't know what they want.
Mm.
So they get into these situations thinking that they're gonna change somebody or they can become, whatever it is that's gonna make this person want to be with them or want to stay.
Right.
It just don't work like that.
Hey, Randy, if you're looking for a husband, man, Captain of 10,000, he got room. He got another buck for you. Let him know,
Oh,
Captain.
I mean, listen, to each his own. You like it, I love it. If you could take care of however many wives you got, I say go for it. If
Yeah.
ain't nobody want, one of my favorite shows was Big Love. If ain't nobody wanting for nothing, I say go the fuck on and do it.
Listen, man, Captain or Officer Jabal said, listen,
I
man,
ain't mad at
he said,
it.
all you gotta do is say, Yahweh, Yahashem, Yahweh, Rakatah, you one of the wise, man. He'll marry you
It
on
ain't my
tomorrow,
cup of tea,
man.
but I ain't mad at it. I ain't knocking it. If them women happy and you happy, y'all be happy.
That's right. Give him a Lord a hand
That's
clap
right,
for that
yeah,
woman.
drop-
That woman
drop
said
that-
she
drop
wanted
that-
to join the,
Drop a
she
bomb for
wanted
that
to join
sister.
the school.
Drop a bomb for that sister.
He's a drop a bomb for her.
Yeah,
But
right.
you know what, Randy? I'm gonna give you something, yo. My man Obsession, he's gonna talk about this tomorrow on his show. You said you're gonna be everything you want your partner to be. And his show, he said, are you what's on your list for your partner? So you literally just gave the prelude out for the brother. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's big facts, and I only can say that because I've been on all ends of the relationship spectrum. I've been cheated on. I've been the cheater. I've been the person that helped somebody cheat, and I've been the person that was just like legit in love. So when you gotta
Someone to
for
share
real,
with.
like for real. And when you have that understanding of just who you are and who you've been when it comes to relationships, and honestly, when you really sit by yourself, when you really, really sit by yourself, it makes such a difference even in who and how you choose a man to be with for real. Cause you sat by yourself. So, and a lot of times, a lot of these people, men and women, they don't even like their damn selves. And they worried about liking somebody or who liked them. And they don't even like themselves.
That's a fact.
This
You
one.
can't comfortably go out to dinner by yourself. You worried about who watching you and wondering why you by yourself. You can't even be by yourself. And you
That
expect
is a
somebody
fact.
else to be around you.
That is such a fact.
Give the Lord a hand clap for Randy, ladies and gentlemen. She is doing the Lord's work today. But nah, that's true. Like, something that I've noticed, right? Like, how often do you see a woman who's like with multiple girls on a date go to the powder room, as y'all call it, by yourselves? Everything is like in a group, right? Everything, like you say, is a certain. But that comes from the old saying that women are creatures of comfort. Once that apple cart shakes, you're gonna find out if she's with you or not. You know what I'm saying? One thing I will say for you, Randy, taking how can I say it? I can say I don't want to say taking your side of the story because but from what you told me, even with your prior marriage, like you said, you held him down, and if you held him down on that level, most women wouldn't do that. Like, if we're gonna be honest, especially like a lot of scenarios you gave me, most women ain't gonna take care of no man flat on himself, flat on his backside, financially. That's like the ultimate taboo in the United States of America.
I mean, I think that you will find a woman for whatever you calling for, you're gonna find that type of woman. You know what I'm saying? Cause I mean, let's keep it a buck, right? It's so funny, right? I was listening, my daughter was doing my hair, whatever, and for the most part, we kind of listen to the same stuff. And I was listening to City Girls, their summer anthem. Yo, I ain't gonna go front, right? It was a straight summer anthem. I don't care who don't like it, whatever. It was a banger. I was feeling it.
Okay.
But my point is, when I listened to what she was talking about in the song, it just made me think, like, damn, that shit sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna run him for his money and this, that, and the third, But the average woman, that's really not her story.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a form of exceptionalism, right?
Ain't the city girls fighting over Diddy right now or something like that?
You said what they doing?
Ain't they fighting over Diddy or something like that right now?
Oh, I don't really know. I don't keep up too tough. But
I heard something like that. That just kind of goes counter to all the stuff they talking.
Exactly.
They fighting one another over a
You
man.
just got to the point I was gonna make where, you know, one of them is like married with a baby or got like a whole family life, but in the songs, you know, it's
Real ass bitch give a fuck about a nigga.
Yeah, exactly. You feel me? So it's like it's just one of those things where you really gotta start to really figure out who you are, and honestly, you move for what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
some
you
real
really
weird
gotta
shit,
start
man.
doing that.
It's real weird, huh? But you like city girls, huh?
You know, there was a time, there's levels to it. I don't listen to it the way I used to now because I'm on a different wave. But it was a time in my life where I'm not gonna front, the city girl served a purpose for me.
And what purpose was that?
Honestly, it kind of gave me a little bit of confidence. You know, it was what I listened to when I was
Confidence.
feeling myself.
That is a big word, confidence.
Yeah, not give me, I don't want to say it like that, but not gave me my confidence, but like I just was feeling myself, and you know, I'm ready to have a good time. So that was the wave I was on. Now I understand I could do all of that, and I don't necessarily got to be on that wave because I understand that, you know, what we speak, it speaks volumes to our lives.
Right. So let me ask you this. So do you feel that city girls music is destructive for young women?
Absolutely, it can be, for sure.
Have you expressed that to your daughter?
Yeah, we have those conversations. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. My daughter believes that she's a lesbian. I don't think she is fully, but that's her belief.
You know what's funny? What's funny about that, right? What's funny about that, as you bring up the whole lesbian thing. Let's say I have 10 female friends. I find it very interesting that out of the 10 of them, at least 5 or 6 of the daughters, that's with girls. That's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Very interesting. Well, I can say that I think that a lot of it for women, for females, and I don't know because I'm not gay, I've never been, but I feel like a lot of that stems from daddy issues and possibly having had some type of situation where they were raped or treated real wrong by a man in their earlier life. That's just what I think.
I kind of agree with you. I also think I think it comes from social acceptance. I think because it's kind of cool in certain circles. I think because it's promoted by the shows that they watch, Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that. Because you always see women on there. Oh my God, I date girls. I like girls too. I remember K. Michelle was in the early days. She was like, oh yeah, I like girls too. Sometimes I date girls. So it's been normalized to a point where it's like, if you're on the outside of that, you're not the cool kid. So it's just regular. And then, young millennials and older zennials, they all have this thing like about being judged, right? Oh, you can't judge me, or why you so judgmental? So, they back themselves into these corners where they don't want to be labeled as being judgmental or not being open-minded. So they try things, or they participate in things, I should say, that they probably normally wouldn't be. But as we see women especially, they need the group, right? They need the group. Unfortunately, they need the group. So they don't want to be the outside girl. They want to be the girl at the table with everybody else. They don't want to be the girl sitting at the table on the other side. Men, to a certain degree, we could be a loner. It's not that serious for us. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm doing, you do what you're doing. Right. And it's all good, but we don't shun other men just because he has a difference of opinion or he just choosing to do whatever it is, as long as it's not something that we would deem like irresponsible or like messing with them little kids and shit like that. If they just march into their own drum, then it's like, oh, that's Harold just like that. Yeah. It's on that level, but for some reason, like even when we see women say they like to cater to their man, like I like to do this for my guy, or I really need my dude. Other women shame them out of that position. Like, oh, they call them what, pick-me's? That's what it's called. You're a pick-me, man. For simply wanting to be with your dude, you're a pick-me. All these different pressures from these girls.
What you
A
said,
pick
what?
me. A pick me.
Like what Jamaicans call kids? You a pick me?
No, that's pick me. No, pick
Pick-mishas.
me.
They
Pick
call them
me.
pick-mishas.
Pickme. Pick
Oh,
me.
like pick me. Ooh,
Yeah,
me,
pick-mishas
ooh, me.
we call them.
Right, right. They this pick
Oh,
me
shit, that's what
ass
they call
bitch.
women that like to do stuff for their man?
Exactly. So you see, so even if they don't want to do it, that's not enough that they don't want to do it. They can't leave you alone while you do it.
Correct.
They got to get on your
Oh.
case while you do it.
Well,
Correct.
I mean, hopefully that woman is strong in her stance, where she could care less. I know I wouldn't care about no chick telling me I'm a pick me shit, especially if my man taking care of me. Because I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. I've never had a problem being submissive, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with being submissive. But you got to be submissive to the right man, and I
agree
only
with
know
that.
that because I was submissive twice to the wrong man.
Right.
First, my husband, and the last guy that I was with.
Well, I think another part of the problem is that when they see other women being shamed for doing traditional things, they shy away from doing traditional things for fear of being shamed, like those women. And I think it's going to take more women like yourself to step in and be like, you can't really care about that. You know, I actually fault older women to a certain degree. I don't put it all on older women, and when I say older, I just simply mean anybody from Generation X or past that. Like, I'm not saying you got to be 50, 60 years old, but I feel like these women, they aren't honest about their outcomes in life due to the choices that they have made when they're talking to younger women. Instead of saying, look, I went down this path, I chose this type of guy, I prioritized my career and everything over my family, and now I'm at a certain age and things didn't pan out the way I wanted. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, those conversations aren't being had. What they do is they double down on it and they tell younger women, get your money, girl, fuck these niggas out here, get your bag. And, you know, when they're the living example of what not to do, they still double down on their bullshit. So I'm actually imploring you to do more for younger women. Like, talk to them, like, give them guidance. You know what I mean? You said you listen to City Girls with your daughters. That's a little cringy for me. Like, knowing the content and the things that they say, that's a little cringy for me. Like, I don't know about that. But, you know, to each his own. So I'm just hoping that you kind of reach out or reach back, as they say, and talk to women younger than yourself and try to get them some gems and talk to them about the submitting to the wrong man and your outcomes and where you ended up, and just give them some guidance instead of saying, fuck these niggas. You feel me?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't front. Like I said, like I've come a long way in my views of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And what I know now and what I understand is, you know, experience is gonna be your best teacher. And I can't, like, I no longer have that conversation. There's a lot of conversations that I just won't have anymore because they don't serve a purpose. But either way, that conversation where, you know, you kicking men back in and this, that, and the third, and vice versa, I would say the same thing for men. You can only get that. If that's all you talking about, that's all you're gonna get.
I agree.
So it just becomes one of those things of where if you want to see something different, then you really gotta start thinking a different way.
I agree.
If you start thinking a different way, you're going to get those experiences, you know, with, you know, for lack of a better word, a high value man, so to speak, or whatever, or somebody that's equally yoked to you.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can I ask
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, a couple of things that she had said, you know, kind of, you know, made a question pop up. But one thing that I would like to say is that I disagree with experience being your greatest teacher.
Okay.
That's actually your worst teacher. You know, our people should not have to experience failed marriages, failed relationships in order to get it right. You understand? Our people should not have to fail at being mothers and fathers in order to, you know, get it right. Our people should not have to fail at anything that we do in order to get it right. What we should have is people like Commander Junior Hanna that teaches our people the correct way. You understand? That's your greatest teacher. You understand? That's your greatest lesson that you would learn is by listening to someone that is wiser than you, and taking their counsel and their advice and doing what they say. I hate to hear people say that you have to learn. You know, you got to go through it yourself and all of that. It's just more and more destruction and more failures. And then my question, hold on one second, I'm almost done. And my question was, I heard you say that city girls once influenced you in their music, and I was looking at the songs, the titles of the songs, and I wanted at that time, because I know you said you don't do that anymore or whatever, you changed from that, but I would like to know what actually inspired you, because I like music, I like rap, I like R&B, I like music, and some lyrics nowadays are really off, and I love the beats, but the lyrics they got me totally like, I wish this wasn't on this beat. You understand? But it is what it is. But to hear like titles like Money Fight, Millionaire Penis, the other word, Broke Niggas, Not Your Main, F That Nigga, Kitty Talk, Vagina Talk, the other word, How to Pimp a Nigga, Where the Bag At, Take Your Man, Rodeo, Twerkulator, Act Up, and Twerk and X for a Reason. How did music like that inspire you, and in what way?
Well, I wouldn't really necessarily know if I meant use the words inspire, but either way, it just was the shit I was into. To keep it above, is stuff that I knew about. I grew up listening to Doggy Style, Snoop Dogg, so to listen to City Girls didn't that's just that. But like I said, I think that I still think that everything, sometimes everything is going to serve a purpose. It's up to you to understand the purpose of it. And when it no longer serves a purpose in your life, you move on. I'm a teacher, so I can't say necessarily that me just talking to you, because I don't learn like that. Like, you can't just lecture me and think that I'm going to get what you're saying. I'm going to do it. You got to show me, tell me, let me hear it, let me see it, let me feel it, let me touch it, let me do it myself. So that's kind of where that experience is the best teacher, because I can tell my daughter certain things about what I know about relationships and what I experience. But if I hadn't experienced the things that I experienced being with her father, I might not have known how to even be with another man.
I agree with that.
The fuck.
Hey, Captain, so you heard what she just said, though, right? So that means she got to hear, feel. So when she's not listening to you as one of your wives, smack her upside the head with that Bible and let her feel and hear the word of God.
Yeah, I heard. I heard, and still, I still disagree, because, like, you should, according to the Bible, you were only supposed to be with one man your whole entire life. Now, I know you probably didn't know that, right? So, but to say that if I wasn't with my ex, I probably wouldn't know how to be with a man, I think that's incorrect.
Hold on, Cap. Hold on.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying. Hold on 1 second. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. The women need to. Hold on.
But you can't say that, because not all of you brothers were in the truth before you got into the truth, right? So that's the old saying goes: Prometheus, Epimetheus, foresight, hindsight.
I hear you.
It took to see that you were doing in your paradigm, you felt you were doing something wrong in your life to end up coming to the ISUPK. It was prior experience that molded to you to the captain of 10,000. And how you got you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And how many brothers are you teaching at the school were in a point in their life that they felt nothing else worked but your Bible? Prior experience.
I see what you're saying, and
hindsight, foresight.
I heard what you said.
Shout out to my brother Captain K. Shout out to my brother Dre. Shout out to the sister. And I apologize because I can never remember the other brother's name. But shout out to
Ball Qatar.
to my
Officer
brother.
Cabal.
So, and shout out to Officer Cut 'em Up. This my
Shalom,
issue with
DOG.
Cap. This my issue with what Cap just said, because first, not everybody, as he called it, the truth, not everybody was in the truth
Facts.
at first. And so when him and JJ was having a dialogue, and JJ said, "You married to chicks that you split back in high school," we laughed at him because that would be foolish to say because you weren't in the truth back in high school, right? And so the same rule would apply to the sister. Her being the one man. So, and I'm saying that because you said experience wouldn't best teach the person, but I believe experience is the best teacher, because
Facts.
how else will we learn besides going through something, extrapolating,
Mm-hmm.
and the best decision we make on the project.
Brother, you breaking up.
You breaking up, DMG.
brother. You breaking up.
You breaking up, DMG.
My bad, can y'all hear me? I'm on the road.
Yeah. You got your headset? It'll probably be better.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Bluetooth thing or something.
Let me see if I can hook it up. Hold up.
Yeah. But yeah, Cat, while he does that.
Yeah, let me respond to that, if I
go
could.
ahead.
Because before everybody put their cape on, I wasn't attacking the sister, right? I
don't think we taking it.
Right, hold on, just one second. I did say that the sister, I'm sure she did not know that, right? I did say that, but what I am saying is that going through it, the experience is not the best teacher, and I'm going to explain why I said what I said. Cabal, give me 2 Corinthians 15:3. I'm going to explain why I said what I said. See, here in this society, in America, we are forced to get out there and learn and make mistakes and fail time after time after time after again until we get it right. What I'm saying is that's not the way it's supposed to be. And while I say I disagree with your experience, you failing being your best teacher. You understand? That's what I'm saying. You know, like, and I'm gonna let the brother read the scripture real quick, and then I'm gonna go into a little more. Right on. One second. Come on with it, Cabal.
What's that verse again?
2 Chronicles 15:3. Nice and loud, mighty man.
Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now for a long season, Israel has been without the true God, and without a teaching priest.
Stop right there.
And without...
Stop right there. Okay, Israel, right? Israel, this nation of Israel is not the so-called white man that's over there squatting in our land right now. Israel is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? And it says for a long season, we have gone without, read it again, Cabal, without the true God.
Okay.
And
without a teaching priest.
And without a teaching priest, keep going.
And without law.
And without law. You understand? We have not had the truth. So what I'm saying is, like, for instance, if I take my sons, right? And I tell my sons, hey son, this woman that's standing on this corner, she's a prostitute. Never deal with her. Right? If he listened to me, guess what? He's gonna do well. But if he doesn't, if he goes and has to experience this whore, and he gets AIDS or STD, then, I mean, did he have to have that experience? Did that experience teach him right? Or would him listening to my teaching would have done him better? So that's 1 second, sis.
I'll answer that for you.
Let me finish this 1 second.
Answer.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm almost done. So the point that I was making is experience is not the best teacher. You listening to someone, like I said, who's wiser than you and who knows better than you is how you should learn. If you're, and I'm not saying the sister personally, I'm not speaking on her situation, but just saying if a woman's mother would tell her daughter, this is the type of man that you look for, right? Don't just go for any old guy and say how good you look and how fat that booty is and how this and that. Don't just go for that. You know, look for this, look for that. You know what I'm saying? What's his morals? You know, what's his background? Just, I mean, if they would go into something, but sisters have to go out here and experience for themselves, brother after brother after brother, and then finally they turn around and start experiencing women once they've had enough of men. So the point I was making is, if we start teaching our people the correct way and how to do things, then that thing of failing would not be, because we would be listening to some people that's wiser than us, and then we wouldn't have to go and deal with the prostitute on the corner and then get the AIDS and get the STD and then to learn a valuable lesson. And then to now know how not to sleep with a prostitute when I told you first not to do it. So that's what I'm saying. Experience is not the best way that we should learn. That's the way that we have to learn in this place, because we don't have anyone over us teaching us properly. But we do have someone now, and that's Commanding General Yohana of the ISUPK.
All right, so
Dre,
but hold on, Randy. So this is the thing. Obsession, myself, even our captain, Randy, and officer, we all know people that parents told them with a ferocious roar, do not do that. This is the ending result. And the curiosity of human beings went and tried that. Listen, your Bible has been here for a long time, right? I know y'all say y'all can wipe your butt with the Quran. The Quran has been here for a long time. The Torah has been here for all of this information. And I know your caveat is going to be they haven't been taught the Bible correctly. I get it. But what I'm saying is, there were certain things my mother told me not to do. And I was as a child, I wasn't like inquisitive, right? I wasn't like all over the place. I wasn't like, you know, into mischief, right? But there's going to be mistakes we're going to make. Once again, obviously, if we can steer, I would just like Obsession told Randy, listen, Randy, you are an educator, you are a teacher. You can get to the girls a little bit earlier, but can Randy really offset what's going on in media and in social media, which is way more dominant than one woman? Now, she can do her job and mentor, right? I think a lot of the teachings for us as we learn as child become more pertinent once we get into adulthood, when we've experienced a certain amount of things, and then that little voice in your head was like, man, I remember that. I shouldn't have done that. It's kind of hard to not navigate through life without experiencing life, even if you're using the law, statutes, and commandments.
Don't touch that stove, it's hot. Well, let me see what hot feel like.
Exactly.
listen, I'm about to say I got the scar right now. My mother told me not to touch the iron. She told me. But as soon as she turned her back, what was I doing? Playing with the iron. The only way I learned how to not touch that iron again was I got the scar underneath my arm to prove it. Which brings me to my neck. Like, you're absolutely right, my brother. Everything you said, it is the truth. It's the truth to you. It's the truth to whoever is following you. That's not for me to determine what's true and what's not true. I know mine. You understand? But my point is that, you know, you could tell, like, for example, everybody told me not to marry that boy. But it was nothing that they could tell me because I knew what I knew.
That's a fact. I told Randy, I said she belonged at the school.
The only way I learned was that I had to learn who he was. I had to learn who he was. We had to grow together because we were young. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it don't matter how you paint it. Whatever God you serve. You understand? Mm-hmm. But I know what I know now about life, and what I know especially now about how we think, why we do and say the things we think, say, and do. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna grow without the experience. Can't nobody tell you. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. Because if that's the case, then you know nothing would be on the line. You understand? If everybody only learned from what they were told, nothing would matter to anybody, because you would just say, you know what? Well, I already told them, so they good.
Facts.
I told them we all right. Everything is cool. Let's keep it pushing. No, experience is gonna teach you, and hopefully, if you had some correct guidance, were able to see and talk to people that have wisdom. Hopefully you get to experience that in your life, and it helps. And really, when you young and when you in it, it don't matter. You can talk to the wisest person on the face of the earth, but if you don't have knowledge in yourself, you ain't listening to nothing they got to say no fucking way. And I had students come back and tell me everything you said about jail was right, Miss Weeks. I ain't never been to jail a day in my life. My daddy has, my uncle has, my stepfather used to work in a jailhouse. So I only told them the stories based on what I knew, the documentaries I saw. But couldn't nothing tell them until they experienced it. I told them every day who they were. I showed them what you want to learn. You want to learn about Egypt? That's what I did. I went to the library, got the books. That didn't stop Tony from going out hustling to 3 o'clock in the morning. Because that's what he did. That's what he knew. So everything you're saying is right. I'm just saying that we gotta start understanding that experience is gonna be the best teacher. And
it absolutely makes a
as
difference.
A parent, you hope that as a parent, you can show your child who to be and how to be. Like all I can pray is that my daughter understand that, you know what, my mother wasn't perfect, but my mother tried. She did her best.
654.
If I die tomorrow and my daughter say that, yo, I'm closing my eyes and I'm sleeping good tonight. I know she's gonna say that. I've been through some shit that I know now ain't nobody coming to save me but me. So if I don't save me, I can't save her.
Yo, hey, real quick, let DMG get in before we, go ahead, DMG.
I'm audio. You heard?
We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm just piggybacking off the sister basically saying everything I was gonna say. This is why I say said about experience.
Hold on, it's going in and out again.
You sound muffled.
You sound muffled. Can you pull over, or you on the highway?
Yeah, we on the highway, so.
Yikes.
Okay, now you sound better.
Go ahead, try it one more time. If not, then we'll do it next time.
Yeah, if not, I'll jump off. But basically, it's things that I've intimated to my son from my experience.
Okay.
That he's learned from, but unless he goes through it himself, he's not gonna get the full extent of that experience. So now he cannot from a point of I deal with that based on what Pops told me.
Right.
And I'm gonna stay away from that particular situation, but he may want to veer into it. It all depends on what arena you're coming from, but it's still the experience that I had that's indicative of me being able to give him that to say, hey, son, you might not want to delve into this particular field. Whether it's husband, whether it's my little life, whatever it is.
Right.
And so I consider saying, told something that automatically is the way that you learn. That nobody learns from that. Like,
hold on, DMG, you breaking up again a little bit, but I get the gist of what you're saying. But I'll say this, and then I'll let all of y'all sign off, because we've been an hour and a half going. Society changes with each generation, and with social media, society has changed exponentially with this generation. We see a lot of things that just became more prevalent within the last 5 years, forget 10. So I'm like Randy, I'm like you, and that's why I told Gabal, our captain, like, look, listen, we all want to have the the foresight to do what's right, but experiences, it's like, yo, if you go down a certain street and you know they out there trapping and robbing, yo, eventually you're gonna be like, I ain't going down that street, right? It's just life experiences that will teach you. Now, obviously, the midget will see father standing on the shoulder of giants. This is why Randy or Obsession or myself or you brothers at ISUBK can like teach and inspire brothers to do better from even your experiences. But with that being said, man, Captain, you want to say something before we sign off? All right, Officer Jabal Kadad, do you want to say something before you sign off?
Just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Captain.
Go ahead, now you finish up. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Cabal. You can say what you was gonna say.
Just said,
Yeah, either one of y'all.
and,
It's
he
all
was
good,
asking,
bro.
tell me.
All right, Cap, say something so we can sign on, brother.
So I honestly think, I honestly think a lot of what Cap was saying was a little bit misunderstood, right? He's not saying that you don't, when you get teaching from experience, that it is not extremely impactful, right? It is the most impactful. The best teacher is not because it's the most impactful, it's because it's the one that has the least amount of harm, right?
Okay.
And what we in ISUPK are doing is we are, like you said, one person isn't going to change anything, right?
Correct.
They can try, but what we are doing is we are working on changing our society, changing the standards, changing what is allowed.
Right.
Because for far too long, our morals have been determined by immoral men, right? And that's how our community has gotten to the point where it is so selfish that we think about what is best for us and what is best for our people, right? And in the ISUPK, we're teaching and learning how to think about what is best for our people, even if it's not necessarily the best for us. And that's the only way to change those experiences.
I feel you.
That's the only way to change that society, is when we stop thinking about ourselves individually, right? And again, that's what we do here at the ISUPK. We teach our people how not to be as selfish as the Christian church teaches you, and only worried about a personal relationship, but it's worried about the survival and the well-being of your people as a whole.
Say no more. So we, so on that note, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatah to you brothers. Thank y'all for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you last minute, Gabar, Captain, and my brother, Officer Chabal. Appreciate you, Randy, for rocking with us again. You know what I'm saying? We got to get you Captain's information if you want to be one of his plethora of women, his wives.
Yo, listen,
doing
I
the
love
Lord's
the
work.
conversation. I love the invite. I appreciate you all. Thank you, my brother, for the very stimulating conversation. But that is
Man,
not
thank
my
you,
life.
man.
I
Oh,
love
that's that's right. She said that ain't my life. Oh man, and as always, thanks for Obsession for letting me use the studio, man. I appreciate the brother, man. Yo, thank y'all all, man. I love all y'all, man. Yo, Cat, man, thank you.
Obsession, peace and light. Peace and light.
Hey, same to you, sis. Same to you. Much love.
Give yourself a round of applause. All right, y'all.
All right, the water for having us on, brother. Appreciate it.
Well, my phone didn't die.